Nice, I just got Cow Cohen keyed. Hello my sea cows, Seabro here, and today we are VOD reviewing a high gold, low plat Hitscan player on Temple of Anubis. Timestamps will be down below, but for now, let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so we are playing Ashe on Temple of Anubis. We have a Mercy, so if she feels like pocketing you, then you can take some really nice angles. First point, Anubis has some really nice dynamite spots, so let's see how it goes. Onwards! So, first thing, if you are shooting shields, you don't need scope in, you will melt it down much quicker scoped out. Honestly though, you could just be looking for a pick. You have Junkrat to help you spam down the shields, so what you're doing is okay, but you only really get away with it because the enemy takes some ridiculously long, slow route. If you play on bridge, you can probably try and get a pick as they walk through the door, and you are less susceptible to spam damage. And honestly, most teams will leave their spawn door out the left side anyways. Not a big deal though, let's continue. Not the best dynamite in the world, I'm not going to lie. Obviously the Reinhardt doesn't have his shield, but in general, throw it higher and further. Dynamite on a Reinhardt doesn't really matter. The real value of the boom boom comes from hitting these squishies behind. Another small thing is you have wasted ammunition on shields. So when you throw the dynamite, you only have one ammo in your pew pew gun. So you might struggle to follow up on it. That's only a small thing though. The main thing is to throw your dynamites at the back line. Let's move on. Dynamite will probably be up again by the time you engage. I'm okay with that. Nice-oo. Stop shooting shields! You just dynamited without having a clue where the enemy is. Dynamite's cooldown is pretty long, so you have to use it a bit more carefully. Even if you got the entire team with that dynamite, there's a good chance they'll just back off and be fine. If you try to wait for them to push through the choke, and then dynamite them as they walk through, then they have committed and your damage will be followed up with a massive Reinhardt hammer and Junkrat bombs. Dynamite is actually an insane ability and it will keep you back if you keep using it without thinking. Nice, nice, nice. Not a bad dynamite. Keep an eye on the Echo, sure, but you are leaving your entire team when you have Bob. Bob is a really strong ability against a Rein Zarya composition, and you are leaving your team fighting a 4v5. You are really lucky the enemy decided not to push here. Again, I would wait for them to start pushing for dynamiting, combo it with Bob as they try to push through the chokes, and it'll be a pretty sure fight win. Not the biggest fan of this Bob, not gonna lie. Yeah, your Reinhardt is committing and I'm guessing you panicked at the enemy's Earthshatter voice line, but it would be pretty easy for them to back up and avoid the Bob or sleep him. If you are going to Bob here, then throw it at the choke and you will split the enemy Rein from their team. Either that, or if you are feeling kind of risky and want a nice play of the game, then you can always flank Bob. But I would prefer if you waited for them to commit through the choke before you used it. You will get so much more value out of it, and it will be harder for them to sleep and not wake up if you wait to use Bob. That's kinda unlucky. They use 4 ultimates and your team is playing in the face of a Nano Reinhardt. Also, the Echo timed a really nice engage. Cal, stop shooting shields. Again, you only get the Reinhardt with your dynamite. You have to be a little bit more careful with the angles you take because you don't have a Mercy, Zen or Brig, but you can totally take this angle here. Then you can easily dynamite their entire backline. But also if you wait until they get just a little bit closer, then the damage will be followed up on. Don't feel rushed to use dynamite, it's worth waiting for a good one. Don't just think of it as a way to build up Bob, it's actually an insane ability by itself if you time it correctly.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Right.
We dynamite grabs.
Get into position.
Get in here. Regen up.
We loves it. Here I will totally allow that dynamite because you really need to get Bob up before they engage. They have too many ults. You need a big Bob here. So throwing a Bob here will be totally fine. If they didn't have an Ana with a sleep dart. Like in reality, what should have happened here is that they just sleep it and walk straight through the choke. Throwing the Bob a bit later will disrupt them much better. Again, you're wasting ammo on shields, so you need to reload again at a bad moment. Nice, they just got Cal Cohen keyed. You only get Reinhardt with your dynamite. Again, just chill with it, you know their backline are going to have to walk through this choke. That's an alright death, I'll allow it. And then we go Doomfist. Let's fast forward this. And that's it for your Ashe gameplay. Make sure you stop shooting shields. When you play it against a close-knit composition, you need to be hitting those dynamites against the backline. Dynamite early if you need to build up Bob for the next fight, but if not and they're playing Brawl, just dynamite them as they walk through a choke. And stop wasting ammo, make sure you are not reloading when they engage. You should be playing angles much more if you have a Mercy, Zen or Brig, or a Sigma Shield. In that case you can literally take some really fun key off angles. If not, even a slight angle will allow you to attempt to get a pick rather than just wasting your ammunition on shields. Also, always look for high ground position where you can dynamite the backline from. Okay, next round. Moving on to your Widow gameplay. Honestly, first thing, go out of the other door. If the enemy team have a Widow or someone else contesting the high ground, then this door they will be looking at straight away. It's a lot easier to clear that high ground if you are on the left side of spawn. This is true for a lot of spawn points. You look a little bit confused. You haven't really shown yourself to anyone, which is really neat. Nicely done. Hard feed by the Genji. Nicey, nicey.
I'm capturing the objective. Hello. Fighting. A legend greeting. I have my eye on you. Powered up. Hello.
You are expecting to contest the enemy Widow here, but main is going to be where the enemy is looking. If you got the stairs on the right, then you can get a first shot in before the Widow even sees you.
You all look like you needed some healing.
Sniper.
You jumped up too early for my liking. Engage when your team engages. If not, they will have 6 people, including an enemy Widowmaker, all looking at you. Honestly, this is the first place they will expect you to grapple to. Like, the enemy Widow is literally just going to be aiming down their sights, waiting for you to jump up here. Big Reds, let's go!
Back in the fight. You must really like me.
You're not going to do anything from here. You need to be taking an angle. Like, if you waited patiently and now grapple to here, then the entire team is distracted and getting a pick will be much easier. Unlike a Junkrat or Brig who will get a fair bit of value by just being there, if you don't click heads, then you may as well disconnect from the game. So you need to be constantly finding the best sightline you can. It's really important.
Let them up.
If you are going to be playing here, play Junkrat or something. Nice shot, he's got Kalkonki'd again. You really need to be taking a different angle to the rest of your team.
No one can hide.
Honestly,
on my
just use sights before an engagement. Using it here when they've all got back and you're down your Rhine is a bit of a waste. Unlucky. You really should get into the habit of using Venom Mine, especially when you're on low ground and the enemy has a tracer. If you move to a new location, the first thing you should think about is, where should I put my Venom Mine?
Checking in. Hello there.
So you are going in well before your team again, but it's not as bad here because the only person who can really contest you properly is the Baptiste. And now he's gone.
That hurt.
I'm going to guess you fell off here by accident. You need to be Venom Mining. You might not need it to protect you unless Junkrat yeets himself at you, but you can always use it for your supports. Even yeeting it into the enemy team is better than never using it. That's unlucky. Your team did a little bit of throwing there. We change to McCree. Unlucky, honourable though for not quite clicking, big respect. Other than calming down a bit and trying to hit shots, that's not your fault. Your team just had no idea what was going on. Like, it should have been a 6v1, that Tracer really should have been feeding. Pictures taken moments before disaster. I can tell you not to peek a window, but... At some point, I'm hoping there will be a proper fight. At some point, hopefully. We have Dead Eye Online. We have 6 ultimates. It's giving me really good vibes. You have to be more careful. You have no cover at all. Not a bad noon, could have had it for a bit longer, but it does its job. Damn, that is unlucky. That is really, really unlucky. That was a very respectful attack. Calm down with your flashbang, you just need to take half a second to figure out where the tracer will be. Okay, dokey. So first up, your Widow gameplay. If they have an enemy Widowmaker or heroes that can contest you, be really careful about showing yourself before your team engages. Try to take sneak off angles that are surprising and nowhere near your team. It is 2000% harder to deal with a Widowmaker if you have no idea where they will be. Secondly, you never want to be positioned with your team. Enemy shields will be in the way, the enemy will know you are there, it's just a bad idea. Other than that, use infocytes to engage and actually try to use your venom mines. For your McCree gameplay, we didn't actually see much of it because your team didn't do anything, so you just were waiting to engage the entire time. Just make sure that you take your time with your flashbangs. You don't have to flashbang the moment you take any damage, and don't play in the open against Junkrat spam. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much Cal Cohenke for the VOD. Some very respectful gameplay, very respectful indeed. I'm accepting VOD reviews on my Discord, so link to that will be in the description. I can't promise I'll get around to them all, but it's 100% free at the moment. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!